Hi, right, we've knocked up a quick video to show you how we strip down our cars before we fit the kits. This has come about because we're just about to start building the new ZGT. So we've stripped a car down in preparation for that model to go on. But what you can do is you can use that for any of our cars. So it's just a general strip down. We've got a decent facelift car that we've stripped to bits. I'll run through a video. It's by no means wonderful. It's not filmed brilliantly. We haven't got any clever effects or anything like that. It's just us idiots in the workshop trying to strip a car down. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Okay, today we're working on quite a nice car. So it's a late sort of a facelift car. No rust at all. So hopefully things will come undone without any major dramas. We won't need an angle grinder today. I'm fingers crossed. We sometimes start at the back, sometimes start at the front. Today we're going to start at the front and work our way through the car. So starting at the front, we're going to undo the little the screws that hold the wheel arches in. So we're just the inner wheel arch. We're going to take all four off, but I'm just going to show you this one here. For this you need an 8mm socket to undo the ones around the periphery, and then there's a couple at the back that are a 10mm socket. So Ben's just going to work his way around the wheel arch, undoing as he goes with the 8mm. Usually these are really rusty and hard to get out, but as I said, it looks like this one's quite a nice one, so there's not a lot of rust, so things are coming out without any drama. So Ben's using an 8mm socket here. Back where the brake sensors plug in, which I'll show you in a sec, there's a 10mm. That's what Ben's working on now. Let's flip back to the 8mm. Right, this one's a 10mm one. And then working under the car, just turn the camera around a bit. Working under the car, when I get the right angle, there's a couple of 10mm that go sort of towards the back of the car. See if I can get the right. Right at the back, so right at the back of the wheel arch, there's just a couple of 10mm. There's like nuts, but they're plastic, some of them. So sometimes they snap off, but don't worry too much. And then it's just a case of, once you've got all of these screws undone, it should just be a case of pulling the wheel arch away. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to get it out from under the wing, but generally speaking they come out okay without causing any damage or ripping any holes in the wheel arch. So Ben's going to get this one out. Do the same for the other side and to the rear. The rear are a bit easier because you've just got the 8mm and not those two 10mm. Ben's just getting this last one out, which connects to under the seal. So this should all come out now. And this will be the first one of four. We're not going to show you taking all four out, you get the idea. It's just this 8mm socket. That just gives us access to everything we need to do. So that's the first one. And we do all four of those. Now we're going to move on to the headlights. These have got slightly strange headlights on this car with the xenons, but the principle's the same. There's a couple of screws at the top here. Again, using an 8mm, a couple at the top, and a couple down these holes that you'll need an extension on. You can't really see with the camera, but if you look down those holes, you'll find an extra couple. The ones at the bottom are often rusty, and it's quite difficult to get them out. Sometimes you find as well that the plastic mounts for the lights are snapped. So once these screws are out, it really is a case of just the light comes out. It's very, very quick, very, very simple. So Ben's just going to work his way through, just doing the one on the right hand side. That's it, just those 4 screws, and the light should come away. And obviously we just disconnect everything as we get it out. So Ben's just going to pull this out and yeah, just disconnect everything from the back as you would normally. Right, now I'm going to try and work on the bumper, just removing the clips that hold the bumper to some of the other panel. There's 2 large bolts that go up underneath. This is the quickest way, by the way. 2 large bolts that go up underneath the front bumper with a torque socket. There you go, there's one. There's one at each end under the bumper. You'll see up there through the hole. And as you take these out and the bumper comes towards you to the front of the car, you just pull it towards the front of the car. You'll have to disconnect the fog lights and anything else that might be connected up. But this is quite simple. This is just literally the 2 big bolts, the clips that hold it to the front under tray that you can pull out, and then the bumper comes away. So this is me just working through this now. That's it, done. Hopefully we're there. Unclipping the fog lights, and the whole lot should come away in one. And there we go. It's as easy as that. You can take the whole thing off. No need to split the plastic moulding away from the metalwork. Now Ben's going to work on the bonnet. So we use the old bonnet catches for our kits. So we take these off and keep these for the kit, so that when we put our bonnet back on, or the front clam back on, it fits straight where the old BMW things went. This is again the Torx on these. These can be really horrible to get off. Luckily enough, as I say, we've got no rust on this one, so if Ben's just using a normal Torx driver, it might have to be a socket if it gets a bit hairy, but these are coming off okay. Once Ben's done these, he's going to have to work his way around the insulation panel that you can see under the bonnet, and they're plastic clips. Sometimes they break, sometimes they come off. When we remove that pad, what it does is it gives us access to the water jets, just so that we can remove the water jets, disconnect that and take the whole thing off. The bonnet itself, when you come to undo the main bonnet, it is a 2-man job. So we're going to struggle to video that with one of us holding the camera and one of us taking the bits off, but we'll do as best we can. So Ben's going to work his way around these little screws. They're horrible plastic little things. Ben's going to work his way around the whole lot. We might speed the video up a bit through this bit. You just work your way around, undoing these as we go. I'll just have a look, show you what they look like. They're a bit strange. He's nearly there. Yeah, there's one that got stuck. We're nearly there. So once you've removed all those screws, that whole panel comes across, and you'll see the water jets in a sec with the feed. Ben's just struggling with the last one. There we go. Eventually that comes out. That's that done. That's the under tray done. Now what we do is we would undo just that earth strap there, and the 2 bolts that hold the bonnet to the hinges. You also need to pull off the clip that holds the gas strut up. So we'll just show you where that is, but we won't do that with the video. So Ben's just going to release all the water pipes and the feed to the washer jets now. It's just a case of squeezing the end of those washer jets and they should pop out through the front and you can pull the pipe off the back. There you go, just pulling that away. These ones had the little heated connection on there, so usually you don't usually find those. Not all the cars have got those. Some of them just have the water pipe going to the washer jet. But on this one, there's an extra connection, and that's it. That's those out. Let me put that away out the way. So now what we would do is we'd remove the clips on the gas strut and undo those 2 bolts. One there, Ben's pointing out. There's the gas strut, and we do the same on the other side. Just pull the clip up on the gas strut, pop it off, and undo the 2 screws that hold the bonnet on. As there's only 2 of us today, it's a 2-man job, so we won't video that. Next thing is the front wings. This is easy. Again, we're back to our 8mm socket. There's a couple along the top, one at the front here, and then there's one that people often miss, which is just in the door. So as you open the door, you can just see it in the centre there. That's the one people forget. Obviously, as we take that front wing away, you'll have the connection to the side repeater. So just beware that you've got to disconnect that before the wing will come away. But this is a nice easy one. This one. So 2 on the top, 1 on the front, and 1 where the door crease is. And there we go. So Ben's just going to disconnect the indicator now, the side repeater, and there's your wing. Do the same the other side. Nice and easy. Right, now we're going to start working on the boot. Before we can take the boot away, we're going to have to disconnect all the electrics. This shouldn't be too bad. You should just be able to move these plastic panels, and the cable's fed in from the left-hand side there as it comes up into the boot. So what we do is we disconnect all the electrics, pull them through as you can see, and then Ben's undoing the 3 bolts each side, which is a 10mm socket. There's 3 of those there, 3 each side. We've already pulled the electrics through. As you can see, there's a hole there where the electrics have been pulled back. We had no problems there. All the connectors just undid. So that's the rear brake light and the lock. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to get to the one that's nearest to the hood there. You can't sometimes get in there, but Ben's sort of got in there okay, I think. Yeah, that one you can't always get to. We take it off like this, complete with the hinge, because it's just easy. You can stand the whole boot up without causing any damage to it, so you can just stand it up on its hinge. This is one side nearly done. It's just a little bit fiddly getting your fingers in there. So that's one side done. Over to the other side. Just one more to go now. The awkward one. This is quite stable when you're undoing these three each side. It shouldn't fall on your head, hopefully. Let's just get this last one out now, and then we should be good to go. So that's the whole boot done. So we're really lucky today. We haven't come across a horrible screw or anything yet. Right, now we're removing the light. So the first thing to do is undo the plastic screw, which gives you access to these little 10 mils that hold the light to the back of the car. So you're going to need a 10 mil socket to get these three off. And then there's just one multi-connector to undo. So Ben's just going to work his way through undoing these three. This whole video is pretty much in real time. We've only sped up a couple of things. You can see how quickly, once you know what you're doing, and with a fair wind, you can actually strip a car down in quite a quick amount of time. That's it. Once these three are done, Ben should just be able to push the light out the back. Sometimes I get a bit stuck on the seal, but it should just pull out. There we go. Let's just pull it out. This one's got a weird light in the back. It's a bit not standard, but that's okay. It's still on the same, just single connector there. Some of these can be quite difficult to get out. This one looks okay. Right, now we're moving on to the seals and the rear wings. You need to remove the trim panel. You can see Ben's just removed the back panel there behind the door. And he also has to remove the trim panel along the bottom. There's a little popper here, a little plastic popper that you pop out. And then hopefully, if you can prise up using a trim tool or a screwdriver, you can lift the bottom trim out, which gives you access to all the screws that hold the sill on and also the rear wing. So Ben's just going to pop this out now. We try our hardest not to break the little lugs that go underneath this, but they usually snap off. But you can buy these little plastic things that hold the little plastic clips that hold the trim panel down. So Ben's just going to get underneath this and lift this up, and you should be able to see that we've got access to all the screws to the sill and to the rear wings. That's it. So now those trims are removed. There we have full access. So Ben's just going to work his way down these screws. Incidentally, when you fit one of our kits, the body panel just bolts straight back onto where these screws have come out. So there's no cutting or anything. It literally is a bolt on, bolt off. So Ben's going to work his way down these screws. So there's a row of screws down the front here. And then he has to go underneath and in the rear wing, where the rear wing touches the rear bumper. There's a couple of screws underneath that we'll show in a sec. So we've got another row of these 8 mils along the top here. So it's 8 mil, 8 mil. And then these couple of awkward ones underneath. We found that some cars have got 10 mils under here. I don't know why that's the case. There should just be 8 mils all the way along. There's a couple along here. we go, just under there. And that just holds the rear wing to the car. These last two here, under here. Ben's got an 8mm socket at the moment. You can see right under there, there's two of them. There's the second one there, which is a bit harder to get to towards the back of the car. So what we've got is we've got the row around the front that was down by the rear of the driver's door. We've got the row that's in the boot, and these two little difficult ones here. Once these are out, that's the wing off. Right, now Ben's working on the seals. So we've got the row of screws that go all the way underneath the car. These can be horrible sometimes, particularly the two ends where water gathers and you get rusty seals. These ones are not rusty at all, we're lucky. So again, using an 8mm socket, Ben's going to work his way along the bottom of the car. If you've got your ramp or your jacks, as we have today, positioned on the proper jacking points, you can still get the sill off without having to move anything around. We would have had the car on the ramp today, but we've got a customer car on there and doing some work on at the moment, so we've just put it on axle stands. Ben's working his way along towards the back of the car. So that's on the underneath. He's then got to work his way through the door shut. There's 3 on top of there and 1 at each end. We'll show you that. So now Ben's working along where the door is. Ben's working on the last 2 now, 1 each end. And that should give us the sill. Sometimes you have to open and close the door a bit because the front bit has to drop down so that it clears the door. But you'll see Ben should get this off now. There we go. Repeat that on the other side. That's a sill. All off in one go without any use of an angle grinder. Right, so now we're looking at the rear bumper, and as we did the front bumper, it's just these 2 big bolts that go up underneath. There's a hole in the bumper, and you just undo these 2 big bolts with a torque screwdriver or torque socket. You will need an extension because they go up underneath, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to get past the spare wheel on one side. Once these 2 are out, you should just be able to pull the whole rear bumper off. Again, you're going to have to disconnect whatever's connected, so in this case it's the rear number plate lights. So once Ben's done that, that should come away. We take the whole bumper off with all the metalwork. We don't mess around trying to get all the little poppers out. We just take the whole thing off as a one. There you go, that's the rear bumper removed. And to all intents and purposes, that's pretty much the car done now. As you can see, we've got the whole back end stripped off. The seals are off, the rear wings are off. Last thing to do is just the wing mirrors. Now this is one. If these twist, brilliant. You can get access to these 2 Allen bolts. 9 times out of 10, whenever we twist these around, they snap, and that's the end of the wing mirror. We say we've been lucky all through this strip down, so it's probably been a bit quicker than it would normally do because nothing snapped or broken. So once you've undone these 2 bolts, you do have to remove the door card on the inside of the car, which is just a Torx screw. And a couple of bits, we'll show that in a different video, but yeah, then you should just be able to pull the cable through. So Ben's just getting to those 2 Allen bolts. And if all's good, that should just lift straight out. There we go. And then Ben will pull the wire through from the inside. Disconnect it from inside the car. We can see we've got the door card removed. That really is simple, the door card. We pull this this insulating panel down, we have to try and see if we can not split it, so you just sort of work with the Brutol tape that holds it on. You should be able to get sort of access to these cables without causing too much damage. And that is simple. Unclip, pull the wing mirror away. Now Ben's got that undone, we should be able to take the wing mirror away, and that's that done. And there we go, car's still working, and that is a complete strip down, ready for one of our kits to go on board, whether it's the GT, the Cabrio or the Cobra. That's ready to go.